What really happens when political leaders are put under pressure? You won't believe what went down when Gavin Newsom had a meltdown while on a phone call with Joe Biden.
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations that are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time. And you wonder where this stuff comes from. And it's very damaging as well. But we're here to get the job done. I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide.
Don't worry, I'm just as shocked as you. You have Gavin Newsom right here, and he is asking Biden for help, but not for the wildfires or against the wildfire standing capacity, but against misinformation. So this is his real crisis at the moment. It's not even comical, but one might say it's almost comical. That instead of actually fighting fires, he's worried about his political future. And this is not the priority that we want from our leaders. Is that correct? I should have phrased that question a little better. But yeah, Kingdom, real quick. Listen, if you enjoyed our journey together and want to be a part of something even more special, I'm encouraging you to join my Patreon through the link in the description right now. Next week, I'm going to be doing some updates with all of the tiers. And if you join now, you'll get a one-time discount that you won't see again available in the future. Let's keep the community close-knit and supportive. I value each and every last one of you so much, and your support on Patreon means the world. I don't think this is the type of leadership that we are looking for. And on top of that, he's aiming his anger and frustration at Donald Trump for his response to this as well. His focus seems to be on Trump a lot. But we are focused on Gavin Newsom because we need answers. And right now, unfortunately, he wanted to know the answer too. He wanted to know the answers too, about what happened with the wildfires. Then he proceeds to blame the local authorities for the disaster. It's going to continue to get more and more unbelievable as we dive into this video.
I want to know the answers. So I'm the governor of California. I want to know the answer. I've got that question. I can't tell you about how many people, what happened. My own team saying what happened. And I want to get the answers. And I'll be candid with you, I wasn't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
I watched the press conference. I met with some of those leaders. We had my team start talking to local leaders saying what's going on. Our state.
And you weren't getting straight answers from
I was getting different answers. When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story. And they're assessing it. And I get that as well. You have to have a little bit of grace, back to the point. We're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts. But no one has any patience anymore. In this weaponized, back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else, there's immediacy. And lies travel the proverbial world. And it's hard to get the facts out there unless you have backing of those facts and you can communicate them soberly. And so that's what we're trying to achieve as relates to this. But I have 10 other things we're doing concurrently as well. I mean, across the board on recovery, disaster assistance, getting the major disaster declaration. It may be the first one in U.S. history over a text with the White House within literally 36 hours to get 100% reimbursement for folks out here. We've been working concurrently in all of these areas. We're doing executive orders as I speak as it relates to recovery and land use, dealing with speculation and fraud, and trying to address issues of the Coastal Commission here and address the issue of planning permits and how we address all of the myriad of needs for small businesses, all of this in real time. Again, as the state, even though this is not a state responsibility, are to support the city and the county that are overwhelmed at this moment.
I'm just appalled by the lack of shame. But I will say that, and many people agree with this, it's typical Democrat behavior, right? No accountability whatsoever. Is there no accountability on the left in politics? Like, will that ever happen? I don't know. I don't know, man. I just feel like we need to go ahead and get some suitcases. Not even that. He don't even deserve that. We're just going to kick him out. He's just going to get the eviction notice and get gone. I ain't even in California, but you know what I'm saying? It's clear why the public is frustrated with Gavin Newsom, man. I don't see how he doesn't seem that. And these extreme reactions justified or justified when you see clips like this. Now we got to go ahead and continue to move forward. He's, again, trying to put the focus on Donald Trump, saying President-elect Trump should come visit Los Angeles and see the fires. Why is he so focused on Trump?
Do the right thing. This is an emergency. We can do all this dance and we have differences of opinion as it relates to all kinds of issues and values, and and that's fair game. And that's important. That dialectic's important. But having this kind of friction when it comes to emergency response with emergency responders, these heroes, 12,000 that are on the front lines right now, taking care of people, making sure people are still alive. We're still doing emergency maintenance, evacuation. We're still concerned about flare-ups and spotting. You got kids right now that don't have money for baby formula, and we're trying to get them disaster assistance. You have folks in hotel rooms that have money only for tonight and don't know what's going to happen, haven't even had a chance to see their homes. Here it's standing or it's here and it's not standing. We want to get them emergency assistance over the course of the next 18 months. That's why I was with the FEMA director today. That's what the President of the United States and I are talking about. And I'd like to have that conversation with the next President of the United States. So let's turn the page as it relates to the new incoming president. We'd like him to have the spirit of the current president and have the backs of people so we can recover. I want him to visit and understand the magnitude of the scope, what happened to the American people that happen to reside here in California. I'm not interested in politicizing an event like this. I don't like the banality of it. I don't like the inhumanity of that. I would like people to focus on a collaboration between the executive in Washington, D.C., and in the state of California to help rebuild a community that's been completely ravaged.
I'm just saying, to sit there and try to focus on Trump after Biden visited there and did absolutely nothing. I mean, you do the math, bro. Seriously, you do the math. What does this mean for California's future, man? If Newsom gets fired, what does it mean for California's future? Are they ready for that change? I say yes. I say what's in their future is not a Democrat, considering everything that we went through this year. Seriously. Now, just to get off of Gavin Newsom just for a second, we're going to get back on him, though. We also have something from Mel Gibson, too, where he's alleging that these California fires aren't by coincidence. And we're going to see how Gavin Newsom ties into that. And also, Mel Gibson's home was burned down while Tom Hanks' house miraculously survived, unlike many others in his neighborhood. But again, let's go ahead and dive into DeSantis, who just called out a reporter for their bias reporting on Gavin Newsom. Quote, if Newsom was a Republican, you guys will have him nailed to the wall for what they are doing over there. Let's check it out.
The president-elect or a president to be criticizing.
Is it appropriate for people in your industry to try to create division and to try to create narratives anytime these things happen? Now, you're not as interested in doing that because Newsom is a D. If Newsom was a Republican, you guys would go you would have him nailed to the wall for what they're doing over there. And I know we've dealt with it. We just assume in Florida, anytime something happens, it's going to be politicized by the media. So you guys sitting in judgment of Donald Trump, I mean, excuse me, I think your track record of politicizing these things is very, very bad.
Okay. My God, DeSantis woke up and chose violence today, man. I'm just saying.
Last question. Newsom should resign and that the wildfires are all his fault. So do you agree with those comments?
I remember when we had the Surfside Tower collapse, I had people from the Washington Post trying to blame me for it immediately without having any facts or anything. Oh, he didn't declare a state of emergency. First of all, state of emergency doesn't mean you can't respond. It's all that. Excuse me?
Biden did it. I think that's what you said.
Well, but what I'm telling you is you guys are trying to make an issue of it when I have watched from this seat. In fact, when I got elected governor, I was meeting with some of the other Republican governors, and what they would say is, hey, if you have a natural disaster, just know media's coming at you. They're going to do it. It's not the same. That mayor of L.A., if that were a Republican mayor, I could only imagine what that would do. I mean, you know the fires are at high risk, and you try to go to Africa or wherever she was to go on some type of voyage. You should have been there preparing and doing that, and yet I don't see a lot of heat being directed in that thing. And so, I'd like to see some balance on how this is done. could criticize the president-elect, but I think you also have to hold these other people accountable, and I have not seen that.
That was a very, very, very different contrast to what Newsom's focus is on misinformation. I said Nukas. Wow. And this, watching videos like this and looking at the media, it makes me continue to wonder where our values lie, man. Are we really on this type of time in terms of the media? I mean, yeah, I don't even know why I'm trying to sit here and act surprised. Now, Gavin Newsom actually sent this note out, or a letter out, to Donald Trump. He even tweeted him. He went to Donald Trump's territory. It says, as you prepare to assume the presidency once more, I invite you to come to California. The hundreds of thousands of Americans displaced from their homes and fearful of the future deserve to see us all working together in their best interest, not politicizing a human tragedy and spreading disinformation from the sidelines. Now, I totally 100% agree in the sense that this is a time that we need to come together and work together. However, I will not negate that this is somehow a tactic to take some of the fire off of Newsom. This is him, even with the videos that's been coming out of him trying to console some of the Californians out there about this disaster, lying about the phone call with Biden and things of that nature, right? Now, I will leave this up here for you guys to, read for yourself. But yeah, it's pretty much him just saying, dog, come, we need to come in peace. We need to go together instead of all this fighting back and forth. I'll let y'all see some of these comments, responses. Gavin, you care more for illegals than your own constituents that pay taxes and are productive members of society. You have blood on your hands. Resign. This is on you. You chose serving the fish over your people. What political hack you are. I mean, truly, what a political hack. Mind you, this is under Gavin Newsom's actual account right here. And in addition to that, I'm glad I seen this because Donald Trump actually went to California and warned Gavin Newsom that this type of thing could happen and how he could prevent these things.
Cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors. The floors of the forests. Very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out.
You had all the warnings, man. How you have them? Oh, man, come back, please, come back. Nah, dog, we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to actually politicize this thing. Moving on. Excuse me. While Mel Gibson's house was burned to the ground, Tom Hanks' house miraculously survived, unlike many others in his neighborhood. I think I'll read this as the video goes on. Let me bring you out of here. It says, Hank, a white cliffside mansion, appeared virtually untouched with no debris visible on the roof or his spacious backyard patio. Now grappling with survivor's guilt, Hanks is considering moving from the neighborhood for good. Man, I want to see now I'm going to turn over to Mel Gibson and his response to this right here. Well, not necessarily this specific. Well, yeah, they're right there because he talked about celebrities. And as you can see, it says Mel Gibson drops a bombshell on Fox News accusing the California state government of possibly starting the fires on purpose. Gibson says he knows the state of California was messing with the water supply of Los Angeles before the fires started. He also alluded some other things. So I'll just go ahead and get it started.
Well, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, oh, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be? I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
Well, Mel, there's.
I mean, I'll just say it. Empty fire hydrants. Insurance companies drop policies just week before the fires. and a $48.8 million budget reduction that went into effect just 2 days on the 8th of January. Let's not forget about all the recent investigations into Hollywood for the So I'll say this, man. You think about Maui, you think about North Carolina, you think about California, all which were denied help for the most part.